My name is Kang Lee, and Korean name is Kang Pil. I came to the United States in 1972 to study. I was 27 years old, and I had gone through the 3 years of Korean military service, and I graduated from Seoul National University, College of Engineering. My original goal was to come to MIT to study and become one of the greatest scientists and engineers that Korea can produce. So that has been my dream ever since I was a junior high school student. My family was very poor at the time, so when I came to the United States, I had only $50 in my pocket. And so without the scholarship, it would have been impossible to really study in the United States. So I had actually applied for MIT, but they couldn't give me the scholarship because we cannot trust your grades in Korea. I spent 1 year in Boston, New York. It was very difficult to study because for the first 6 months, I couldn't really follow the English portion. So I had an awful lot of trouble following it, but still I got straight A's. So that really enabled me to contact MIT again and say, okay, I'm ready. So they said, okay, you can come, but still we cannot give you the scholarship. So I told them, all right, you don't have to give me a scholarship. I'll just come and I'll prove it to you in a year. So when I got to MIT, I had to really look for the scholarship in a hurry because I didn't have any money. About a month later, I saw another advertisement by another different professor, and he was in acoustics, which is the science of sound propagation. So, okay, that I can take. I don't know what I will do with that knowledge, but what the heck? It's mechanical engineering, it's science, it's engineering. I'll do that. So I went to the professor, and he accepted me as his teaching assistant. So within a month, I was able to get the scholarship from MIT. So that's how I was able to really start studying for my PhD. The problem was they didn't recognize the degree that I was going to get from Clarkson. So that's useless. You have to do it again. So I had to go through another master's degree program in acoustics, which I finished in a year. By that time, I was introduced into the PhD program. I thought I was ready to bring my wife, who was still in Korea. So we arranged that, and actually I went back to Korea to have a ceremony, marriage ceremony, and brought her back. So that was in 1974. Unfortunately or fortunately, the advisor that I was doing my master's degree, he had to leave for Canada. So now I had to find another professor under which I could do PhD program. And so I was looking for one, and then I found a professor in thermodynamics and heat transfer. And it was a really great thing. The combination of the disciplines, the acoustics and the real mechanical engineering part, including machine design and testing, that was a tremendous experience that one can have at an institution like MIT. So I think I was the only student who actually designed machinery at the time and actually make parts and then test the whole concept. So it really prepared me for what I'm doing now. In 1984, I started the company called Aspen Systems. And Aspen Systems its charter is to really develop new technologies and products out of the new technologies. And so that's what we have been doing ever since. And Aspen Systems has started out from mechanical engineering discipline. We branched into many different areas, unrelated. We had 6 siblings, 2 brothers and 4 sisters. And in the beginning, we were all scattered. I think 4 of us stayed with our mother, and then 2 went to Busan to stay with our relatives. So, and then when we came back to Seoul, the capital city, we all struggled together. But a lot of us went to different houses to become tutors. So that's how we were able to go to school. And my mother was teaching at a high school and in a different region of the country. So we were we really didn't live as a family that much. My father came out of a very rural family in Korea. And in fact, he was the first one who went to the high school from his family. His family was a just average family, a little bit of money compared to other families, but not really rich. So there were not many people who had higher level of education. My father was a very bright young man, and he really shined in school system. And he ended up going to Japan and really excelling in everything he did, like athletics, schoolwork, music, painting. So he had everything. So when he went through the college system in Japan, and he became quite good in what he did, which is in genetics. So at that time, the Chinese government asked for help to send some specialists to China to help their silk production. So they asked my father to go to Nanjing to teach at Nanjing University. So that's how my father ended up in Nanjing. And that's when my mother went there to get married. But my mother's story is something else. My mother's father went to the United States as part of his independence movement. And he went there in 1910, around that period, and he stayed there until 1930 something. So my mother was, I think she was still in her womb, in my grandmother's womb, and so she never saw her father until he came back from the United States, and she was 20 years old. So at that time, so it was almost late. It was too late, getting late for my mother to get married. So they hurriedly found my father. So they sent my mother to Nanjing to get married. But at that time, the Japanese spies were all over the place, and they were trying to recruit my father to be their agent. So, and then the Korean independence movement people will come and ask him to support them, and so he was torn. So he said, I can't handle this. I may get killed at any moment. So they packed up and left China and came back to Korea. And then the war broke out. And at that time, my father was the chairman of the biology department at Seoul National University. And when the North Koreans were retreating, they took him because he was very valuable. About 3 years ago, I got a call from a guy in New York. He says, I work for this conglomerate in Korea. I want to talk to you about what you do in the United States. Okay, so that was a really big conglomerate, so okay, they want to work with me, our company. So okay, that's great. So how did you find out about me and what do you know about me? So I know all about you, including your father. What do you mean by my father? He said, oh, I know your father used to be the professor at Kim Il-sung University. So this was the first time I heard about my father.
You thought he was dead all this time?
Right. But he is long dead.
Right.
But we had no idea. And so, okay, can you give me more information? No, I don't have any more information. That's it. So how did you find it? Oh, we can find out by talking to the Korean CIA and all that. So, wow. So that was a really startling information for me to have. So I was really sort of glad that my father survived and actually lived to become a professor there. 사서 고생한다. 돈을 주고도 고생한다. That means you're going to pay to get into difficult situations, to train yourself, to strengthen yourself. So I think I was just put into that situation. And I had, I was lucky enough to have the willpower to get out of that. I know what my father did. I know what my grandfather did, a great-grandfather did. I can't let them down.
That's wonderful.
Yes. So when you said generational self, I think I would say generational awareness. This is very important. You don't want to really taint your family name. I mean, that's a very strong motivation for Koreans. If you can do it, you will keep doing it until you succeed. I think we are put on this world for a reason. I don't believe we are here like blade of plants. So I believe that everyone has a destiny and a role to play. So to the best of your ability to really enhance the greater good. And so if you have that in mind, then you will know where to go and what to do. And otherwise, if you are simply trying to enjoy your life, then you are no different from a tree or seaweed buffeted by winds and currents. So I think you really have to understand why you are here. My life has been filled with difficulties, but interesting thing is I've never felt that I was going through difficult periods. It was always overcoming difficulties and getting pleasure out of it. So never felt that I was unhappy, no matter what, because you can always find the bright spot. When I think about it, boy, I must be panicking now, but I'm not panicking. So it's not coming from any training. So I credit my ancestors. I feel gratitude that I can do this. And even at my age, I keep coming out with inventions that will be completely groundbreaking. So at 70, if you can do that, hey, what more can you ask?